Favorites. Later in the afternoon, Wyatt was taking me out for a date, so I got ready in a pastel-colored dress with a flattering ruched bodice, and let my hair down before wearing some heels. "You look pretty," my brother said. I turned away from the mirror. "Thanks, can you help me with the earrings?" I asked. He walked over and put my earrings for me. "Are you going out with the king?" He arched an eyebrow. I sighed and stood up. Luca still didn't like the king too much, even though they watched 2 football games together. He was just scared that I might get hurt again. It was hard, when my pack and all my friends turned their backs on me, but I survived. I cupped his cute little face. "I'll be fine, and I want this." I swallowed. So far, the Alpha King has been nothing but gentle and kind toward me. "I heard bad stories about him," he said slowly. "We can't judge people based on stories, Luca, we get to know them first and make a decision for ourselves," I said, and he nodded. I inhaled and went outside. My mate was in the driveway. He wore a black shirt that showed off his biceps, and jeans that fitted him perfectly with brown boots. His dark hair was a little messy, and a delicious jolt washed through me, when his lips curled into a tiny smile. "You look beautiful, my queen," he said. I was in a storm of emotions at those simple words. The look in his eyes made me tremble. He kissed my lips passionately, and pulled away, brushing my hair behind my ears. "Is that for me?" I asked, noting the rose in his hand. "Yes," he gave it to me. "Thanks," he pecked my lips. "Daisies," I said as smelled it. Daisies are my favorites." "I'll keep that in mind." "So where are we going?" "I was hoping you could tell me." I arched my eyebrow at him in surprise. "You asked me out, mister. You grew up here, I didn't." I thought of where to take him. It was 3 p.m. already, so I took him to my favorite spot. It was a small green park that barely had people. The gateman smiled at me kindly. I paid for the tickets. As I insisted and dragged him to the swings, I sat on one and he stood behind me, pushing it gently. I remembered going there as a kid with my parents, but frowned. I didn't want to think about that. "You like this place?" Wyatt asked. "I used to come here as a child with my parents. Unlike the main park, this one is quieter and more peaceful," I told him. He sat next to me and took my hand in his. I told him what I liked in this pack and everything I did as a child, and he listened attentively. "Why teaching?" he asked. "I like kids and educating them," I shrugged. We were talking about career choices. Wyatt owns a huge corporation and is affiliated with the pack. It is known globally world. "So you deal with technology?" "Among other things, but I don't want to bore you with my tedious work," he said. His phone rang and he groaned, pulling it out of his pocket. I saw on the caller ID that it said, Rachel. He kept staring at it. "Aren't you going to answer that?" I asked, and he quickly ended the call, switching off his phone at once. I wondered who Rachel was. I wanted to ask, but didn't. It was too soon, and I didn't know what we were yet. We were mates, but what happens now? "Tell me about your pack. Is it as beautiful as it is on TV or in magazines?" I asked. "The Black Diamond pack is as you see it," he answered. I thought back to the pack I saw on TV. It was bigger than any I have seen, with tall buildings and huge bridges. "And you're the king. What is it do you want to know?" Wyatt frowned. His gentle gaze on me. "Are you a cold-blooded killer, as they say?" I blurted out, my fingers rushing to cover my lips. "I'm king, and I have done things I'm not proud of. Adira, I am always a target, my pack is always target, so we are forced to do things to protect ourselves and home." His gaze was far away, and slowly, he looked down at his hands. I took his hands and kissed them. "It's getting late, I think we should eat, and I exactly know where." I smiled and pulled him up. He surprised me by pulling me back to his chest and squeezing my butt before lifting me. He kissed me deeply and hungrily before putting me down. I'm hungry indeed, he said in that sexy tone that made me think he wasn't only hungry for food but for me. I caressed his cheek. Let's go eat then, I said slowly, and I guided him out of the park. It was almost dark when we reached a corner restaurant. I used to come here a lot, but since the incident with my parents, I was banned. The manager gasped seeing me and was about to say something caustic to me, but the king appeared in her line of vision, and her lips were sealed, bowing to the king. It is an honor to have you here, my king, she stuttered her words. Wyatt was intimidating indeed. I can only imagine all those weak or rankless wolves. I bet they couldn't be in the same room as him for more than a minute. Penny, can we have a table on the roof? I said. She sent me a glare that Wyatt didn't miss. Is there a problem? No, sir, I will get your table ready, she said, almost sprinting to instruct the staff. This pack makes me want to kill people, he said seriously. Don't do that,